Hi friends, NTA UGC Net in the provisional answer key release ആയത് നിങ്ങൾ എല്ലാവരും അറിഞ്ഞാണ്. സോ നമ്മുടെ ഇന്നത്തെ ഈ ഒരു വീഡിയോയിൽ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് കൊമേഴ്സിന്റെ 25/11/2021 ഷിഫ്റ്റ് 1 നടന്ന എക്സാമിന്റെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസും അതിന്റെ പ്രൊവിഷണൽ ആൻസേഴ്സും ആയിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുക. So here is our first question. Which one of the following statements is true about under Basel I Accord BCBS fixed the minimum requirement of capital fund for bank at? This is actually from banking area, okay? And this is mainly focused on the capital, Basel norms, Basel 1, 2 and 3 is there, we know. And so this is actually based on, or the question is actually focused on Basel I Accord. So option A, 8% of the total risk-weighted asset, B, 9% of the total risk-weighted asset, C, 10% of the total risk-weighted asset, and D, 100 crore. So this is actually a question which is based on the minimum requirement which you have to keep as per Basel I. Okay, so that is actually the correct answer for this question is option A, 8% of total risk-weighted asset. Okay, so moving to the second question. Which of the following statements are correct about chi-square test? Okay, so this is actually from which area? It is actually dealing with statistics. Okay, and when you're discussing about the chi-square test, option A, the only parameter of chi-square distribution is its number of degrees of freedom, and B, the null hypothesis is given chi-square test is rejected when calculated value of variable exceeds its critical value. Option C, the rejection region in goodness of fit test lies only in the right tail of the distribution. Option D, the chi-square test is a parametric test. And option D, at alpha is equal to 0.05 and V equal to 1, the critical value of chi-square is equal to Z value at the same level of significance. Okay, so you need to identify the correct statement which is actually about chi-square test. Okay, and here you have a combinations BDE, ACE, ABC and BCD. So the correct answer is actually option C, that is ABC. So the first three statements are actually correct. So by dealing with the option D itself, we know that chi-square test is a parametric test. It is not a parametric test, it's a non-parametric test. Anyway, the correct statements are option A, B and C. So the correct answer for this question is option C. Next question, which of the following statement is correct about Mann-Whitney U test? So this is also from statistics area and it also deals with non-parametric test. So option A, it is a non-parametric test. B, it requires that samples are independent. C, it can be used when the population involved are normally distributed. And option D, it is used to test the null hypothesis that the two populations are involved are identical. And option E, it is always a two-tailed test. Again, this is also, you need to identify the correct statement which is actually connected with Mann-Whitney U test, and this also, it also includes a combination. Okay, so choose the correct answer from the options given below. ABD, ACD, ADE, ABE. Okay, so by reading this particular statement, or the correct answer is actually option A, that is ABD. A, it is a parametric test. It requires that samples are independent, and D, it is used to test the null hypothesis that the two populations are involved are identical. Okay, so the correct answer is actually option A, B, D only. Moving to the fourth question, which one of the following statement is not true about Indian money market? Okay, so this is actually from banking area. And the first statement, non-banking finance companies are financial institutions that constitute organized component of money market. Option B, money market mutual funds are allowed to sell units to corporate and individuals. Option C, a well-developed money market is essential for a modern economy. And D, in the Indian money market, the predominant place is enjoyed by the government and semi-government security. So you need to identify the wrong statement from the following statements. So the correct answer or the wrong statement in this particular question is non-banking financial companies are financial institutions that constitute organized component of money market. This particular statement is wrong. Okay, and our question is to identify the wrong statement. So the correct answer for this question will be option A. Okay. Fifth question, which of the following persons cannot use ITR 4? Okay, this is actually from income tax and it actually deals with the ITR, filing of different ITR forms. Okay, so this question is actually about who cannot use ITR 4. Okay, and here we have different options. A, who is a director of a company who has held any unlisted equity shares. C, who has any asset located outside India. And D, a firm other than LLP if assessee is a resident. And option D, who has income from other sources. Okay, so here you have again a combination of answers ABC, ABD, BDE and CDE. Okay, so by reading this, the person who cannot use ITR is actually who is a director of a company A, B, who has held any unlisted equity shares, and option D, who has any asset located outside India. These three persons cannot use this particular ITR 4. Okay, so the correct answer should be A, B, C. Okay, so the answer will be option A. So the next question, use of interviews as a training needs assessment technique has the following advantages. So this is actually from HRM area and it is actually focused on the training methods. Okay, so you need to identify its advantages. Option A, questions can be modified. B, easy to analyze. C, can explore unanticipated issues that come up. And option D, less time consuming. So this, its answer is also a combination form like A and B, B and C, A and C only, B, C, D. So you need to focus on the advantages of this particular method. So yes, we have the advantages as its correct answer is option C, A and C only. That is, questions can be modified and C, can explore unanticipated issues that come up. Okay, so yes, the right answer is C. Moving on to another question, which of the following are not the objectives of Competition Act 2002? So this particular question is from legal aspects of business and which focused on the Competition Act 2002. Okay, so you need to identify which one of the following is not an objective of this particular act. So A, ensure freedom of trade for other participants in incidental and connected market. Option B, provide a reasonable level of reliability and connect operation. Option C, adhere to generally accepted security procedures. And option D, protect the interest of consumers. So here you need to identify you should know about the objectives of competition. Okay, so you need to identify which of the following is not the objective of Competition Act. Here also you have a combination of answers like ACD, CD, AC and BC. Okay, so here when you are dealing with this particular question, you will have which is not an objective. Option B, provide a reasonable level of reliability in connect operation, and option C, adhere to generally accepted security procedures. So B and C will be there, should be there in that particular option. So the correct option is answer D. Okay. Next question is which is the most potent driver of business transformation during COVID-19 pandemic? So you can say that this is actually a general question. And A, ethical consciousness. B, scale economies and pricing power. And D, C, the technology adoption and innovation. And D, supply chain logistic and government intervention. So when you're dealing with this particular question, you need to identify the potent driver, okay, which is for the business transformation during this pandemic situation. So you can say that it is actually option C, which is technology adoption and innovation. So the next question, characteristics constituting the core of consumers' rationality includes. So this is a question which is actually from economics area and which is actually focusing on consumers' behavior. And you have the option homogeneous expectation, non-satiation, C, selfish motive, D, clarity of preferences, and E, possession of information. So this is also a combination, it also includes a combination of answers like A, B, C, B, C, D, A, B, C and D, B, C, D and E. Okay, so here you have the options like B, C, D, E, which is non-satiation, selfish motive, clarity of preference and E, possession of information. Okay, so B, C, D, E. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Okay. And the next question, a claim for quantum merit cannot succeed. So this is actually concentrating on which area, which is actually dealing with legal aspects of business and from the area of Indian Contract Act. Okay, so this particular question is asking about quantum merit and the options are when a divisible contract is partly performed, B, when an indivisible contract for a lump sum is partly performed, when a contract is discovered to be unenforceable due to some technical defect. In the case of breach of contract, the aggrieved party can claim reasonable compensation for what he has done under the contract. So you need to identify in which of the following you cannot claim quantum merit. Okay, so it is actually in situation B, when an indivisible contract for a lump sum is partly performed, which is this is because which is an indivisible contract. Okay, so the correct answer is B. Next question, which of the following is not true while determining length of distribution channel? This is actually from marketing area and which is actually focused on the distribution of product. Okay, like which you can connect with logistic management. Option A, the larger the market size, the longer the channel. If average lot size is large, it is better to have a longer channel. Option C, if the product and the market require a high level of service, it is advisable to keep a shorter channel. And option D, if the customers shop for an assortment of products, it demands for a wider channel of distribution. Okay, so in this question, you need to identify which is not true while you are considering about the length of distribution channel. So the correct answer for this question is B. If the average lot size is large, it is better to have a longer channel. Okay, first results. Okay, so this is actually from economics area and which is concentrated on pricing strategy. A, where the price quality association is weak, when the product is perceived as a high technology product. C, when the market is characterized by intensive competition. And option D, when the firm uses it as an entry strategy. Okay, so here also you have a combination answers BC, AD, ACD, ABC. Okay, and the correct answer is ACD. Okay, which is where the price quality of quality association is weak, when the market is characterized by intensive competition, and D, when the firm uses it as an entry strategy. Okay. Now another question, factor condition in Michael Porter's competitive advantage of nations include. So this is actually from the business environment and this is about strategy formulation of strategy conditions. In that particular area you can see Michael Porter's 5 force model. Okay, so here you need to identify the factors which includes in it. Okay, so market size, demand conditions, internationally competitive suppliers, and the skilled labor and scientific knowledge. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is actually option C, skilled labor and scientific knowledge. Okay. And the question number 14, when the value of investment in subsidiary in the holding company's balance sheet is more than the book value of net asset acquired, the difference represents. Okay, so this is from which module? It actually deals with accounting and auditing module and which is focused on holding company accounts. Okay, so here your options are A, capital reserve on consolidation, B, goodwill on consolidation, C, minority interest, and D, post-acquisition profit. Okay, and the correct answer for this question is answer B, goodwill on consolidation. Okay, here we have 15th question. This is a match the following question, list 1 and list 2. In list 1, you are dealing with various acts, Insurance Act, Life Insurance Corporation Act, Motor Vehicle Act, and Marine Insurance Act. And list 2 deals with the years in connected with this particular acts. Okay, so now you need to, here we have the different options like A4, B3, C1, D2. So you need to identify the correct one which matches in connected with each of these acts. Okay, so yes, the correct answer for this question is actually option C, A3, B4, C1 and D2. Okay, so A3, Insurance 1938, then we have B4, that is Life Insurance Corporation, is 1956, and C1, that is Motor Vehicle Act 1988, and D2, that is Marine Insurance Act in 1963. Okay. And another question, which of the following distinction is or are not correct between public issue and right issue? This is actually focused in which area? This is also from accounting and auditing and deals with corporate accounting. So here you have the distinction between public issue and right issue, and you need to identify the incorrect statement. In public issue, applications for shares are invited from the general public, and in right issue, the shares are offered to existing shareholders. B. In public issue, there is no question of any oversubscription, and in right issue, the shares may be undersubscribed or oversubscribed, leading to pro rata allotment. Okay. Next, the price of public issue is generally less than market price, and in right issue, the price is deliberately made less than the market price. D. In public issue, the communication of issue is through prospectus or advertisement, and in right issue, the communication is between the company and the existing members of the company. Okay, so this is also a combination of answers which will be there: B only, D only, A and C only, and C and D only. Okay, and the correct answer is actually answer A, that is B only. Next question, given below are two statements. Statement 1, only low price products will sell in rural India, and statement 2, rural consumers are a homogeneous lot. Okay, so here you need to identify whether the statement is correct or not. Okay, and we have the option like both statement 1 and 2 are correct, both statement 1 and 2 are incorrect, statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect, and statement option D, statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is incorrect. Okay, and the correct answer is actually both these statements is incorrect. Statement 1 and statement 2 is wrong, and the correct answer is answer B. Okay, and another question, pecking order theory in finance is based on the assertion of. So this is actually from the area of business finance, and it is actually which is based on pecking order theory, which is connected with capital structure, and you need to identify pecking order theory in finance based on the assertion, which is actually the basic assertion of pecking order theory. Option A, asymmetric information between managers and investors. B, symmetric information between managers and investors. Option C, outside information, and option D, asymmetric information among investors only. Okay, and the correct answer is option A, that is asymmetric information between managers and investors. Question number 19, which one of the following is the one of the advantage of derivatives market? Okay, so this particular area deals with the business finance, and it is about the derivative market and all. Okay, capital market and all, and here you need to identify which is not the advantage. Okay, so you need to identify the drawback or the disadvantages in connected with derivative market. Option A, leveraging increases risk. Option B, the enhanced liquidity in the market for underlying asset. They represent a form of insurance against risk. They reduce price volatility. So the only disadvantage which you can identify here is option A, that is leveraging increases risk. Okay. And the next question, which of the following represents traditional logistic management approach? So this question deals with marketing area, and it's focused on logistic management, and we have the different options. Option A, independent inventory management efforts. B, minimize firm cost. C, amount of information sharing and monitoring limited to current processes. And option D, small breadth of supplier base to increase coordination. Here also you have a combination of answers like A, B, B, C, A, C, D, and B, C, D only. Okay, and the correct answer is option A and B. Okay, that is independent inventory management efforts and minimize firm cost. Okay, and here we have the 21st question. Which of the following forms may not result in credit risk? Okay, and option A, principal and or interest amount may not be repaid in the case of direct lending. B, in case of guarantees or letters of credit, fund may not be forthcoming from the constituent upon crystallization of liability. Funds or security settlement may not be effective in case of securities trading business. And option D, provide information for determining adequacy of loan loss provision. Okay, so this is actually focused on credit risk. Okay, and you need to identify which is not in connected with this credit risk. You have the following statements and you need to identify which is not in connected with credit risk. Okay, so this is also a part of business finance. And here also you have a combination of answers like A, B, C, A, C, D, B, C and D only. Okay, and the correct answer is actually D, that is statement D. Provide information for determining adequacy of loan loss provision. Okay. Next question, in Cobb-Douglas production function, Q is equal to A, K raised to A, L raised to B, increasing returns to scale occurs when? So this is actually from economics area and which is concentrated on Cobb-Douglas production function. And you need to identify which of the situation is actually showing increasing returns to scale. And you have the option A plus B which is greater than 1, K plus L greater than 1, A plus B less than 1, K plus L less than 1. So the correct answer is actually option A plus B greater than 1. Okay. And the next question, which is 23, logically sequence the following in the process of entering international market outlined in the Uppsala model. Okay. So this particular question or this particular area which is dealing with it is business international environment or business environment and international business. And you have the options are A, sporadic or ad hoc exports, foreign production and manufacturing, establishing a foreign sales subsidiary, D, domestic operations and production, E, exporting via independent representative. Okay. So you need to arrange the main sequence. Okay. And you have A, B, C, D and E, C, B, D, A and E, D, A, E, C and B, E, B, D, C and A. Okay. And the correct answer is D, A, E, C and B. Okay. And the next question, the extreme case of non-price competition in an oligopoly is. So this particular question deals with economics area and it is about the different forms of market. Okay. And option A, formation of cartels. Option B, interdependent decision making. C, attaining economies of scale. And D, formation of duopoly. Okay. And the correct answer for this question is actually option B, which is interdependent decision making. Now the next question, which of the following statements are false, indicate the correct call. So you need to identify the incorrect statement from the following and it is actually related to company. Okay, so you can say that it is actually a part of or you can include it in accounting and auditing module and also you can include this particular area in our legal aspects of business as we are dealing with Companies Act there also. Okay. So moving to the first option, no company has to file any prescribed declaration before commencement of business. B, a company can ratify the contract entered into by the promoters with third parties on behalf of the company before its formation. The date mentioned in the certificate of commencement for business is taken as the date of birth of a public company. A private company has to file a statement in lieu of prospectus with the registrar. Okay. And the answer is actually a combination form and you need to identify the correct answer. Okay. So the correct answer for this question is actually C, that is B, C and D. Right. Moving to another question, that is 26th. A text that contains a fair sample of the task and skills actually needed for job in question. Okay. So here we are actually checking about the different types of validity of a particular question and you have construct validity, content validity, test validity and criterion validity. And the correct answer for this particular question is option B, content validity. And another question, this is actually from statistics area and we have option A, you need to identify the correct statement. Okay. And A, coefficient of variance is equal to sigma divided by x bar into 100. B, if the value in series are negative, the standard deviation is also negative. C, if value in series multiplied by sigma, the variance would be multiplied by 36. Standard deviation is equal to square of variance. So you need to identify the correct statement and the rest of the statement will be incorrect. Okay, so which is the correct statement is actually option A, coefficient of variance is equal to sigma divided by x bar, that is mean multiplied by 100. Next question, sequence the steps for computing gross annual value of income from house property. So this is actually from income tax and it is actually dealing with income from house property, the different source or different heads of incomes. Okay, and option A, find out the rent actually received or receivable after excluding unrealized before deducting loss due to vacancy. Find out the loss because of vacancy. Find out the reasonable expected rent of the property. Find out which one is higher amount computed in C or A, option C or option A. And E, D minus, option D minus B is the gross annual value. So you need to arrange them in a proper order. Okay. And you have a number of options is given here, and the correct answer is actually A, that is CADDE. Okay. Yes. That's a correct order which you need to for finding out the income from house property. Okay. And the next question, 29, financial crisis takes the form of, okay. So the form which is actually related with financial crisis is you can connect it with the financial management from our business finance area. You have currency crisis, bank crisis, systematic financial crisis, and you have foreign debt crisis. Okay, so this is also a combination question, and you have A, B, C only, A, B, D only, B, C, D only, and A, B, C, D. Okay. And actually the correct answer is A, B, D. Currency crisis, banking crisis, and foreign debt crisis will be there. So A, B, D is the correct answer. That is, the correct answer is option B. Next question is a match the following question, and you need to match the list 1 which includes books, and list 2 actually deals with the authors. You need to connect with the books and their or the authors in connected with that particular book. Okay, so Wealth of a Nation 1776, Principles of Political Economy and Taxation 1870, Principle of Population 1798, and Das Capital 1867. Okay, so this is also which include Thomas Malthus, Karl Marx, Adam Smith, and David Ricardo. Okay, so this is also from the area of business, environment, and international business, and you need to connect the books with the authors. Okay, and you have the options like A1, B3, C4, D3, etc. Okay, and actually the correct answer is option B, that is A3, B4, C1, and D2. Okay, next question, which among the following is not a primary determinant of organizational structure? Not a primary determinant of organizational structure. So this is a module, this is actually including the area of HRM, and in which you have chain and span, capacity and lower needs, power and control, differentiation, and integration. Okay, so the correct answer is actually B, capacity and lower needs. So next question is a match the following question, and in which list 1 is actually dealing with price strategies and list 2 is about its description. So pricing strategy is actually a part of economics, and we already seen a question which is actually from this pricing strategy topic. And you have A, Ramsey pricing, B, price skimming, C, cost plus pricing, D, penetration pricing, and list 2 deals with its explanation. 1, setting a high price when a product is first introduced and gradually lowering price as it gains scale. 2, firm charges lower price than the ongoing price to gain market entry. Price deviation from marginal cost should be inversely proportional to price elasticity of the product. And D, it is a full cost pricing strategy that also include markup for a target return, degree of competition, price elasticity, and availability of substitutes. Okay. And you have the option like A3, B4, C1, D2, A3, B1, C3, D4, A3, B1, C4, D2, and A1, B4, C2, and D3. Okay, so by matching it, you will get the correct answer as answer C, that is A3, B1, C4, and D2. Okay, and the next question, given below are 2 statements. So here you have 2 statements and you have to identify whether it is wrong or correct statement. Okay, so this is actually dealing with the area of delegation. So it is actually connected with the area of HRM module. And so delegation is an interpersonal transaction based on the behavior analysis. And statement 2, delegation is an evolutionary and developmental process which needs encouragement and reinforcement. And you have the options like both statement 1 and 2 are correct, both statement 1 and 2 are incorrect, statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect, statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. Okay, and we have the correct answer as answer D, that is statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. Okay, and the next question, to prevent opportunistic takeover of domestic firms amid COVID-19 pandemic, foreign direct investment FDI from countries that share borders with India is allowed through. So which is actually the route in connected with this international trade, international transaction and all. So this is the correct answer for this question. You have automatic route, government route, FIPB route, and DPIIT route. Okay, and the correct answer is actually through government route. Okay, so this is also from area of business environment. and international business. And we have the next question, that is, according to Accounting Standard 2, which of the following costs should be included in valuing the inventories of a manufacturing company? So here this is actually a question from Accounting and Auditing, and it is asking about the accounting standard. Okay, so you need to identify which of the cost is actually included in this Accounting Standard 2. Okay, freight and insurance, carriage outwards, depreciation of factory plant, and general administrative overheads. And you have a combination of answers like A and D, A, B and D, B and C, and A and C only. Okay, so the correct answer is A and C only. That is, freight and insurance and depreciation of factory plant will be included in it. Okay. Next question, arrange the following items, that is the stages of capital budgeting in correct sequence. So, every time they are asking question from this capital budgeting area, and the last time also they asked the steps in connected with capital budgeting. This time also you can see a question from this particular area, and here you need to arrange them in order. A, identification of potential investment opportunities, assembling of proposed investments. C, decision making. D, implementation and performance review. E, preparation of capital budget and appropriations. And you have B, A, E, C, D, E, C, A, B, D, C, E, D, B, A, B, C, E, D. Okay, and the correct order is actually A, B, C, E, D. Okay, A, B, C, E, D. That is the correct answer for this question. That is answer D. Next question. In case of the purchasing company agrees to act as an agent of the vendor for collection of the book's debt in the books of purchasing company, the amount of debtors should be credited to. So, this is actually also a part of accounting and auditing, and as it deals with mainly about amalgamation and acquisition of a company. And here you need to identify in which account we are actually crediting the amount. Okay, so you have vendors debtors account, vendor suspense account, debtors account, and creditors account. And the correct answer for this question is option B, that is vendors suspense account. Next question, why is an indifference curve convex to origin? So this question is actually from economics. Okay, and it is mainly about this indifference curve. So A, indifference curve slope downwards to the right. B, two commodities are imperfect substitutes. C, declining marginal rate of substitution between commodities. And D, diminishing marginal utility. Okay, so here you need to identify what is the reason for this convex shape of this indifference curve. Okay, and so here also it's like a combination, and you need to identify the correct answer in connected with this. And the correct answer is actually B, which includes option B and C. That is, two commodities are imperfect substitute, and C, declining marginal rate of substitution between commodities. Okay. And the next question, for a Poisson distribution variable x, p x is equal to 0, that is 2p into x minus 1, its standard deviation would be. So, this is actually from the area of statistics as it deals with the probability distribution, and one of the important distribution is Poisson distribution, and this is specifically about Poisson distribution. Okay, so you have the options root 2, 0.5, root 0.5 and 2. Okay, and by calculating you will get the correct answer as option C, that is square root of 0.5. And the next question is again a match the following question, and you have two lists, and the list 1 is saying about this different sections, and list 2 deals with the description in connected with this. Okay, so this is from income tax, and you have A, section 35 2AA, section 35 1 subsection 2A, and section 35 subsection 1 subsection 3, section 35 1 2 subsection 4. Okay, and we have the description connected with this in list 2. 1. Payment made to certain institution for scientific research. Payment made to certain institution for research in social science. Payment made to a company to be used for scientific research. Payment made to Indian Institute of Technology for scientific research. Okay, and you have the various option in connected with this, and the correct answer is actually A4, B3, C2 and D1. Okay, so A4, B3, C2 and D1. Okay, that's a way you can match this particular question, and the correct answer is answer B. Next question is about World Bank Group. So here also it deals with business environment and international business module, and in which we are dealing with this working bank group. So World Bank group. So which of the following institutions are included in World Bank group? So what do you mean by this World Bank group, or which all are the institutions which got included or in this World Bank group? A. International Finance Corporation, International Monetary Fund, World Trade Organization, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, E. International Development Association. So these are the different options, and so you need to combine the different options in order to get the correct answer for this question, like A, B, C, A, B, D, A, B, D, E, A, D, E. Okay, and the correct answer is A, D and E only. That is option D. International Finance Corporation, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency and International Development Association. Okay, that is answer D. Next question, arrange the following market structures in increasing order of pricing power of to firm. So this is from economics and it is concentrating in which topic? That is the forms of market. Okay, market forms is actually discussed. Monopolistic competition, perfect competition, duopoly, monopoly and oligopoly. Okay, and here also you have a combination because you need to arrange them in increasing order. Okay, so like a way you have a number of options and the correct option is actually option B, that is B, A, E, C, D. Okay, B, A, E, C, D. So it ends with monopoly and it starts with perfect competition. Okay. And we have another question from accounting and auditing, and in which it deals with this particular question is dealing with partnership accounts. Okay. X and Y are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 4:3. They admit Z into the partnership for 1/5 share. X and Y decided to share for future profits in the ratio of 2:1. What is the sacrificing ratio of X and Y? Okay, so you need to identify the sacrificing ratio, and option A 4:3, option B 13:8, option C 80:13 and option D 4:17. Okay, so you have the equation connected with this. So after computing you will get the sacrificing ratio as 4:17, that is option D. Next question, countervailing duty CVD are often imposed on imports to offset the impact of. So in order to or why we are actually making this CVD. Okay, so that's you need to identify the purpose. A, predatory pricing, then export subsidies, dumping and low cost financing. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is actually export subsidies, that is option B. Next question is again from the topic of which deals with income tax module, and here you need to identify the entertainment allowance. It is actually dealing with the entertainment allowance. X, an employee of a private company, gets rupees 30,000 per month, basic salary entitled to rupees 1,500 per month as entertainment allowance. What are the deduction under section 16 subsection 2 from gross salary in respect of entertainment allowance? So you need to compute the amount of entertainment allowance for this particular person who is a private employee. And you have the option A, rupees 5,000, B, rupees 18,000, C, rupees 72,000 and option D, nil. After computing it, you will get as rupees 18,000, that is option B. Here you have the next question. So this is also a match the following question, and here in list 1, it is dealing with the various forms of or various types of risk. Okay, so this is a part of business finance, and in which you can see market risk, financial risk, external business risk and internal business risk. And list 2 is the explanation connected with each types of risk associated with the efficiency with which a firm conducts its operation within the broader environment imposed upon it, arises due to change in operating condition caused by the conditions thrust upon the firm which are beyond its control. A variation in price sparked off due to real, social, political and economics events associated with the capital structure of a firm. Okay, so by identifying these key words and connected with this, you can match with the risk very directly, and you have the options like A1, B3, C3 and D4 like a way, and the correct answer is actually option B, A3, B4, C2, D1. Okay, so A3, B4, C2 and D1. And the next question, which of the following statements are false regarding electronic purse? So this is from banking area, and it is mainly about the different electronic forms of or major trends incoming with the banks. Okay, so indicate the correct code. Original pattern of verification, visual recognition, no risk of bad payment, method of accepting payment with no cash flow to manage, and no risk of theft. So you need to identify the false statement which is actually connected with this electronic purse. Okay, and here also you have a combination of answers like A, B, C and D, B, C and D, A and B, C and D, and the correct answer is actually option A. Like it includes option A and option B, that is option C. So retinal pattern of verification and visual recognition should be included for your correct answer. Next question, so this is a question from capital budgeting area, that is business finance, and in which they are asking you about the calculation of ARR. So when we discussed about this particular area, we already specified that capital budgeting is very important, and you will get a question from profitability index or payback period and ARR. Okay, and here we have, if a project costs rupees 40,000, its stream of earning before depreciation and tax during the first year through 5 years is expected to rupees 10,000, 12,000, 14,000, 16,000 and 20,000. Assume a 50% of tax rate and depreciation on straight line basis. Project's ARR is. So you need to compute average rate of return or accounting rate of return, and after computing you will get the answer as option C, that is 16%. Next question, question number 49. So this is actually dealing with which module? That is actually dealing with statistics. Okay, so here we have for a given set of paired data, the correlation and regression coefficient have calculated as being equal to R, Bxy and Byx respectively. Now each of the values of X series is divided by 5. What effect does it have on each of these coefficients? And A, the three coefficients remain unchanged. B, there is no change in R, but by X changes to Byx divided by 5 and Bxy changes to 5Bxy. Each of the coefficient will be reduced to 1/4 of its value, and D, there is no change in R, but Byx changes to 5Byx and Bxy changes to Bxy divided by 5. So this is mainly about correlation and coefficient of correlation, and the correct answer in connected with this is option D, that is there is no change in R, that is for correlation, but Byx changes to 5Byx and Bxy changes to Bxy divided by 5. So the next question, according to the theory of dividend, the firm should follow its investment policy of accepting all positive NPV projects and paying out dividends if and only if funds are available. So this is from the area of business finance, and which is focused upon dividend theories. Okay, and you have the options: bird in hand theory, investor rationality theory, 100% retention theory, and finally option D, that is residual theory. So the correct answer which is given by NTA was option D, residual theory. And the next question, in securitization, when no assets are acquired and the collateral is fixed for the life of asset, the type of structure is called as. So this is also from business finance, and which is focused on the area of securitization. So you need to identify the proper structure. Okay, when no assets is acquired, in such a situation, which is the proper structure you can identify. So that is revolving structure, amortized structure, collateralized structure, and finally self-liquidating structure. Okay, and the correct answer was option D, self-liquidating structure. Next question, the advantage of incentive payments are. So this is focused on the area of HRM, human resource management, and which is about the incentive payments. Okay, so you should identify the advantage. What is the main advantage of incentive payments? And you have a combination of answers. Ease in the introduction of new machines, better utilization of equipment, reduced absenteeism and turnover, and option D, increased scrap. So you should identify the advantage which is connected to incentive payment, giving incentives. Okay, so the answer should include better utilization of equipment and reduced absenteeism and turnover. So a combination of B and C. Yes, the correct answer is option B, B and C only. The next question, arrange the following stages of formation of companies in a proper sequence. So here you need to make an order, a logical order which is related to a formation of company. Okay, so you can connect this area actually with two modules. One is legal aspects of business, in which we are discussing about Companies Act, and this is also come as a part of accounting and auditing module when you are dealing with the corporate accounting. Okay. So you should make them in order. So when you are dealing with this particular options, promotion stage, rising of capital stage, incorporation stage, commencement stage, selection of name. So as we know that when you are reading this option, you know that it will be start with promotion stage and it will end with commencement stage. So you can identify an option which starts with A and which ends with D. Okay. So an option which starts with A and ends with D is actually option C. Right. Next question. Given below are two statements. Statement 1, deferred tax liabilities is the amount of tax on the temporary difference between the accounting income and taxable income. It arises when the accounting income is more than taxable income. Statement 2, deferred tax liabilities and deferred tax assets are only be entails, that is, they are neither actual liability nor actual assets. So this is from a tax perspective, income tax perspective, and you need to identify whether these statements are true or false. By reading it, we know that statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is also correct, and you need to identify the correct option. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, are true, that is option A. Okay. Now another question, which of the following are correct about complementary events? So this is from the area of statistics and which is focused on probability. So you have to identify a combination of answers which is connected with or which is true when you are considering the case of a complementary events. Okay, so mutually exclusive, independent, such that their probabilities add up to 1, and finally that is collective exhaustive. Okay, so you can include option A, that is mutually exclusive, then such that their probabilities add up to 1, and finally collective exhaustive. So an option with A, C, D, that is option D, A, C, D only, right? Moving on to another question. Arrange the following stages of consumer decision making process in a sequential order with regard to young person Divya. So this is from marketing, and here you can see it is about a consumer buying pattern, or how a consumer is making a buying process. Okay, and here we have an example. Based on this example, you need to identify, or you need to connect it with the buying process. Okay. And option A, looks for a specific color and showroom delivery as she does not want to wait, narrows down to a dark grey of a specific brand, belongs to an executive group and all her colleagues have their own vehicles, uses media and other social channels to collect information about different models, and finally feels that the fuel efficiency should be the most critical factor while making a choice. Okay, so the first step is actually starts with C, that is belongs to an executive group and all her colleagues have their own vehicles, because that time that particular person, this Divya, is getting an intention or getting an urge to buy this particular car or vehicle. So it starts with option C, and then it will come like feels that fuel efficiency should be the most critical factor while making a choice. That's the second stage when you are considering this buying pattern. And then it with uses media and other social channels to collect information. Now she is making wants information related to that, that is option D. And then it will be with looks for a specific color. Now it's about some specifications and showroom delivery as she does not want to wait, and finally narrows down to a dark grey of a specific brand. Okay, so the correct option is actually option B, C, E, D, A and B. Right. Question number 57. For a decline in price, total revenue declines if the demand of the product is. So this is from economics and which is focused on the area of elasticity. Okay, demand and elasticity. So you need to identify that when the price is declining and as a result the total revenue is declining, what about the situation of demand, whether it is elastic, inelastic or not. So the correct answer is actually option A, that is inelastic. Okay. Question number 58. Corporate social responsibility is the continuing commitment by business to behave ethically and contribute to. Okay. So this is from corporate social responsibility. That means we are discussing this CSR in a Business Environment and International Business, that is Unit 1. Okay, so you need to identify a combination of answers and which is actually focused on corporate social responsibility. So which all items will include in it. So option A, political awareness, social security and inclusion. B, public health, education and literacy. C, maintaining ecological balances and protecting environment. D, gender diversity and profiteering and market controlling. Option E, rendering, sponsoring and donating to social charitable activities. Okay, so anyway, it should include public health, education and literacy, maintaining about this ecological balance, and you can say that it also include rendering, sponsoring, donating to social and charitable activities. A and D is not in answers. Okay, so B, C, E, that is option B. Now the next question number 59. Firm characteristics that helps managers to identify the core competencies include. So this is about the competition and all. So here you need to identify what's the characteristics or what makes a firm core competent. Okay, you need to identify the features in connected with that. Okay, and you have the options: potential access to wide variety of market, significantly contribute to the perceived customer benefit, value accretive and non-competitive, and D, distinctive and difficult for competitors to imitate. So you need to identify a combination of answers. And you can see that it's about core competency. So that should include the potential access to wide variety of market. Then you can say that it's about B, that is significantly contribute to the perceived customer benefit. And the main and most important point is distinctive and difficult for the competitors to imitate. So it should be difficult for the competitors to get that particular advantage. Okay, so A, B and D should be an answer. That is option C, A, B, D only, right? Question number 60. Sequence the following in increasing order of integration of member economies. So here it is from the first unit, that is Business Environment and International Business, and here you need to make an order, that is in an increasing order you have to make it as it is related to economic integration. Okay, so free trade area, economic union, custom union, preferential trade agreement, and finally common market. So we know that by reading this, you know that the first option or the first one you should choose should be option D, that is preferential trade agreements, and it should end with B, that is economic union. Okay, that's the order. So you can say that preferential trade agreement, that is D, then it's about free trade area, then you should include C, that is custom union, and then common market, and finally economic union. So the one which starts with option D and ends with option B, that is option C. Okay, D, A, C, E and B. Question number 61. The principles of management have the following distinct features. So this is actually focusing on the principles of management. Okay, so that is mainly from human resource management. You need to identify what are the major features which you can connect it with the principles of management. So flexibility, universal application, principles are relative, not absolute, based on situation. So here also you should identify a combination of answer, and you can see that every point is actually a feature which is connected to the principles of management. So A, B, C, D should be there. That is option D, A, B, C and D. Question number 62. Following are the problems that make an optimal international diversification. So this is actually from the first module itself, that is our Business Environment and International Business, and here you need to identify the problem that is connected with this optimal international diversification. And you have unfavorable exchange rate movements, frictions in international market, manipulation of security prices, and D, unequal access to information. And the correct answer is actually, so here also you have a combination of answers A, B, C, B, C, D, A, C, D and A, B, C, D, and the correct answer is A, B, C, D. Okay, every point should be included in it. Okay. And the next question, given below are two statements, one is labeled as assertion A and other labeled as reason. So this is an assertion reasoning question. It's actually from the area of income tax. So you have already, we deal with a question which is in connected with this ITR. So again, here we have another question which is connected with this ITR 4. So assertion is given as ITR 1 can be used by an individual whose total income does not exceed rupees 1 crore, and reason is as ITR 1 cannot be used by an individual who is a director in a company. So you need to identify whether this assertion and reason is correct or not, and whether this reason is supporting this assertion. Okay. So assertion is actually incorrect, as it is saying that ITR can be used by only those people if their income does not exceeding rupees 1 crore, but reason is actually true. Okay, so you can see that A is incorrect, and that is A is not correct, but R is correct, that is option D. And question number 64, which of the following can be categorized as people processing services? Okay, so which is actually an activity, or which is actually a process which you can connect it with this people processing services? The answer is very direct, that is option A, healthcare. Question number 65, which of the following statements are the defects of Indian money market? Okay, so we are dealing with this Indian money market in banking and as well as in business finance also. Okay, so you need to identify which is the drawback of Indian money market. Here also you need to identify a combination of answers: profitable investment, dichotomy in Indian money market, financing industry, and finally we have a diversity in interest rate. And when you are taking a drawback or defect, you should include dichotomy in Indian money market and this diversity in interest rate. These 2 points should be there, and the one with option B and D is actually the correct answer is option D, B and D only. Right. Question number 66, SBU or products that have lost their position of leadership and are in the low growth market are known as. So this is specifically from marketing area, and this is about strategic business units. Okay, so by reading this question, you should be able to identify from which combination or which model this particular question is came. And actually this is from BCG metrics. So the first thing you should identify that this is from BCG metrics, then only you are able to answer the question from the given options. Okay, so anyway, it's about a low the one which lost this position of leadership and the one with low growth market. Okay, and the correct answer is actually option C, that is dog. Question number 67. The liquidator, after realizing the assets of company, should distribute the proceeds among below mentioned claimants in the following order. So this is also about a liquidation process, how the company is making liquidation, the steps in connected with that you should arrange them in a proper order. Okay, so when you're dealing with legal charges, liquidators remuneration and cost of expense of winding up, workman's due and claims of the secured creditors, preferential creditors and creditors secured by floating charge, and finally you have the option unsecured creditors. And actually this option itself is given in the correct order, like it starts with legal charges and finally it ends with this unsecured creditors. So the option itself in the correct order, so you can go for A, B, C, D, E, that is option C is the correct answer. Okay. Question number 68. AMT provisions are applicable on. So this is focused on income tax area, and you should identify AMT provision can be applied in which of the forms or which of the one which is given in our options: corporate assessees, non-corporate assessee, HUF and individual. Okay, and the correct answer given by NTA was non-corporate assessees. Right. Question number 69. If assessee is engaged in the business of growing and manufacturing tea in India, the non-agricultural income in that case be. So this is also from income tax, and this area is very direct, as you know that we are making a partition between this agricultural income and non-agricultural income. And when you are taking part, you should identify how much percentage of income is actually considered as a non-agriculture income. Okay, and the correct answer when it is connected with tea manufacturing. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is very direct, that is option A, 40% of the income from such business. Okay. Question number 70. People repeat behaviors that bring them satisfaction and pleasure and stop those that bring them dissatisfaction or pain is known as. So this is about a particular law, the law in connected with that a person who is like he repeats something which gives him satisfaction, he is not doing anything, or stop something which make a dissatisfaction. And the correct answer is very direct, that is option C, law of effect. Here we have a match the following question, and the list 1 is actually dealing with the personality dimensions and list 2 is about the individual traits and connected with this. So this is actually from human resource management, and when you're dealing with this individual and personal behaviors and all. So in our list 1 we have the options extroversion, conscientiousness, emotional stability, openness to experience, and in list 2 calm, happy and secure, talkative, assertive, sociable and outgoing, creative, curious, intellectual, imaginative and artistically sensitive, and finally self-disciplined, hardworking, organized, dependable and persistent. So when you are you should identify the traits in with this particular dimension. So when you are coming with the first one, extroversion, you can actually connect it with talkative, assertive, sociable and outgoing. When you are dealing with conscientious, you can connect it actually with the option 4th one, that is self-disciplined, hardworking, organized, dependable and persistent. When it is about option C, that is emotional stability, you can connect it with calm, happy, secure. There you can see a stability in emotions, right? So that is very easy to connect. And finally, openness to experience is creative, curious, intellectual, imaginative and artistically sensitive. So the correct answer should be option B, that is A2, B4, C1 and D3. The next question, an act in a way that results in the greatest and good for the greatest number is. So this is also, you can connect it with the area of the first unit, that is business, environment and international business. So this is actually focused on a rule or something we are doing when we are doing something for a greatest good of a number of people. Okay, if that results in a betterment of a large people, you can actually connect it with utilitarian principle, and this question is very direct. Okay, that is option B, utilitarian principle. Question number 73. The first offence for infringement of copyright can be for a maximum of imprisonment for a term of. So this question is actually from legal aspects of business and which is actually focused on intellectual property, right, in which we are dealing with copyright, patent and all. So this question is actually about copyright. Okay, so it is about the imprisonment when you are making an offence and connected with that. 6 months and a fine of rupees 20,000, 3 years and a fine of rupees 50,000, 3 years and a fine of rupees 2 lakh, 1 year and a fine of rupees 3 lakh. And the correct answer is option C, that is 3 years and a fine of rupees 2 lakh. Question number 74. Arrange the following steps in logical sequence of operation of registration of portfolio managers. So this is actually dealing with business finance and it is about the portfolio management. So you need to make arrange these steps in a order as it is connected with the registration of this portfolio manager. Prior approval of SEBI, adequate steps for redressal of investor grievances, maintenance of specified capital adequacy requirement, payment of fee, abide by the regulations under the SEBI Act. So you need to make them in order. Okay, so firstly it should start with the prior approval of SEBI, that is option A should be the first one, and the second one should be D, that is payment of fee. That's the next step by reading this given options. So prior approval of SEBI, then payment of fee, then it will go with adequate steps for redressal of investors and grievances. Then you have maintenance of specified capital adequacy requirement, and finally you can go with the last option, that is E, abide by the regulations under SEBI Act. So the one which starts with option A, that is prior approval of SEBI and ends with option E should be the correct answer. So here you have only one option like a way, that is option C, A, D, B, C and finally which ends with E. Question number 75. Which of the following Provident Fund is approved by the Provident Fund Commissioner? Again a question from income tax, and here you need to identify which Provident Fund or what is the name of the Provident Fund when it is recognized by the Provident Fund Commissioner. Okay, the answer is very direct, that is and a provident fund which got approved by the Provident Fund Commissioner is known as recognized provident fund, right? And the next question, which one of the following statement is a promissory note? So this is from Legal Aspects of Business and which is based on the area of Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. So here you have a number of examples and you need to identify which is actually a situation of promissory note. Option A, I promise to pay Q rupees 7,000 7 days after my marriage. Option B, on demand I promise to pay B or bearer rupees 5,000. Option C, I promise to pay rupees 5,000 on C's death provided C leaves with me enough money to pay that sum. And finally D, I acknowledge to be indebted to you for rupees 10,000 to pay on demand for the value received. By reading it, you can say that option D is the correct answer. As it is focusing on the, it's like from the statement itself, you can see that it is actually like he's promising that particular person to pay, right? So the answer should be D. I acknowledge to be indebted to you for rupees 10,000 to be paid on demand for value received. Question number 77. The basic method of valuing human asset is. So this is from the area of accounting and auditing and which is about human accounting, human resource accounting, and you have a number of options: adjustment, amortization, capitalization and quasi-equity. And the correct answer is actually option B, amortization. Okay. Now question number 78. Arrange the following characteristics of stages of group developments in the increasing order. So here you need to arrange these in order, and which is actually in which order? There should be an increasing order which is actually connected to the group development. Okay, so this is actually we are dealing this particular topic in HRM and which is about the group development and all in connected with it. And you have option A, member begin to resolve differences and clarity for the purpose of group and the roles of group members. Option B, it includes recognition for participation and achievement. Option C, members are highly task oriented and there is unity in the group. Option D, conflict starts arising due to the differences of opinion among members. And option E, members are moderately eager, have positive expectation, anxious about why they are and who other members are. So you need to make them in order, and actually it starts with increasing order. So the first one should be the members are moderately eager, have positive expectation, anxious about why they are and who other members are. So that's the first one which starts with, and then it goes to the conflict start arising due to the differences of opinion among members, that is ED. Okay, then you can go for option A, that is members begin to resolve differences and clarify the purpose of the group and the roles of the group members. Then C, that is members are highly task oriented and there is unity in group. And finally it includes recognition for participation and achievement. So an option which starts with E and ends with B, that is option C, E, D, A, C and B. Question number 79. Which one of the following conditions does not constitute a valid agency by necessity? Option A, there should have been actual and definite commercial necessity for the agent to act promptly. The agent should have acted bona fide and for the benefit of the principal. The agent should have adopted the most reasonable and practicable course under the circumstances. And option D, destruction of subject matter of the contract of agency. So this is actually from Legal Aspects of Business and which is about the different kinds of contract, special kinds of contract, that is contract of agency. So from this question you need to identify a condition which is not valid when you are taking case of a agency by necessity. It's a category of agency, that is agency by necessity. That means an agency is happening in case of some necessity. Okay, so you need to identify which is not a condition. Okay, so actually you can say that the correct option is very direct, that is option D, destruction of subject matter of contract of agency. In such a situation, there is no need for a valid agency by necessity. Okay. Question number 80. Which of the following statements is correct relating to Indian financial system? Okay. So this is also from the area of banking and you need to identify the correct statements with this connected with this Indian financial system. RBI has a direct supervision over depositories and mutual funds. Monetary control is exercised through cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratio. Option C, primary dealers mainly deals in shares, mutual funds, units. And option D, the decrease in statutory liquidity ratio contracts the credit creation. Okay, and the correct answer which is given by NTA was option B, that is monetary control is exercised through cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratio. Question number 81. Given below are two statements, statement 1 and statement 2. So, you need to identify whether this statement is true or false. And you can see that this is actually focused on the area, from the module of business finance, and it is actually focused on capital budgeting decision. Okay, we already discussed some videos in connected with capital budgeting decisions. You know that it's a very important topic when you are taking this particular area. And in statement 1, it is about modified internal rate of return. IRR is based on reinvestment assumption. So, you should identify that whether it is true or false. So, you can say that the statement is very direct, it is true. And statement 2, value additivity principle is not applicable in NPV. So, it is given as it is not applicable. So, you can see that second statement is incorrect. So, first should be correct and second should be incorrect. That is, the statement is option C, statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect. Correct answer is option C. Question number 82. Which of the following rules stands true while preparing the schedule of changes in working capital? So, this is actually from accounting and auditing, and in which we are discussing this particular topic under the head of management accounting, that is fund flow statement. Okay. So, here you need to identify the rule which is connected with the schedule of changes in working capital. In case of fund flow statement, we are preparing a schedule of working capital changes, and there we discussed, or there we have two rules which is about the changes that is happening in this current asset or current liability. Okay, what will happens to this working capital? So, you should identify the correct combination in connected with this rule, okay, of the changes in schedule of working capital. Okay. So, an increase in current asset increases working capital, an increase in current asset decreases working capital, an increase in current liability decreases working capital, an increase in current liability increases working capital. Okay. So, anyway, this question is very direct and you can answer the question if you are able to identify this particular rules from it. Okay. So, anyway, option A, that is an increase in current asset. When current asset is increasing, working capital is also increased, and that will happen in opposite in case of a current liability. Then you can go for option C, that is an increase in current liability decreases working capital. So, A and C. An option with A and C is actually option A, that is A and C only. Question number 83. Again, we have a match the following question, and the list one, it's about the various methods of payment. Okay, so that is about the purchase consideration forms. So, this is also from accounting and auditing, and in list 2, we are dealing with purchase consideration, how this consideration is made. Okay, so the first one, lump sum payment, net asset method, net payment method, swap ratio method. Okay, and when you are coming to the list 2, calculated by adding up the total amount of existing shares, preference shares and cash received from purchasing company for the shareholders of the vendor company. So, this is the explanation actually which you can connect to with the given options which is in list 1, how you can connect it with the first statement. So, it's about the payment that you should make, right? So, it is, you can connect actually with option C, that is net payment method. Okay, and coming to option 2, on the basis of ratio. So, ratio is specified there, in which the shares of the transferee company are to be exchanged for the shares of transferor company. So, as it is specifying on ratio, directly you can go for option D, that is D2. The amount to be paid by the transferee company to the transferor company for amalgamation of its business. Okay, so they are paying a huge amount. So, you can connect it with option A, that is lump sum payment. And the final option, that is arrived by adding agreed value of assets taken over by deducting there from the agreed value of liability. So, you are deducting the agreed value of asset and with this agreed value of liability. That is a situation of net asset method. Okay, so B4. So, the option is actually A3, B4, C1 and D2. That is the correct option is option B. Question number 84. Arrange the following stages of processing of data in correct sequence. So, this is actually from the area of statistics and which is focused on this research process. So, it's coding, editing, tabulation, classification, and you have finally using percentage. Okay, so it should start with editing. By reading this option, you should start with editing and then you should go for coding. Then it's about classification, then tabulation, and finally it's about using percentage. After making these tables and all, you are using some percentage to get into the result. Okay, so we have all the options is actually ending with E, but the option which starts with B is only one, that is option D. B, A, D, C and E. Okay. Question number 85. Which of the following losses are not deductible from business income? Again a question from income tax and which is actually focused on an important head of income, that is income from business. Okay, so here you need to identify a loss which we are not able to deduct as per the given sections. Okay, so loss sustained before the business is commenced, losses incurred in closing down of business, loss incurred due to damage, destruction, etc. of capital asset, loss of raw material and finished goods in transit, loss of stock in trade due to enemy actions. Okay, so actually option A, option B and option C, we are not able to include these losses as a part when you are making a calculation of a business income. So A, B, C, we are not able to deduct these items. So an option with A, B, C is actually option A. Now moving to another question, question number 86. So this is a match the following question, and see this is actually a question from the first unit, that is business environment and international business, and it is focused on international trade theories. Okay, so when you are taking the previous year question, the recent exam also you can see that the question is asked continuously from this international trade theories, and the last time also they got asked you from this particular area, and that was also a match the following question. Okay, so this time also it's a match the following question. So see that this area is very important. Okay, so when you're dealing with the list 1, it's about the personalities who got connected with these theories, and in list 2 we are discussing about the different theories. Okay, and when you're coming with the first one, that is David Ricardo, we can actually connect the theory of comparative advantage with the person David Ricardo, that was in 1870. Okay, when you're coming with option B, that is Michael Porter 1990, you can connect with it with the last option, that is theory of competitive advantage. Okay, and Adam Smith is actually connected with the theory of absolute advantage, and finally Heckscher in 1919 and O'Hlin in 1933 is actually connected with factor endowment theory. Okay, so this is the way you can connect it with, that is A3, B4, C1 and finally D2. Okay, option B is the correct answer. Question number 87. The value of the firm in wealth maximization objective is measured by. So this is from business finance and which is focused on the objectives of financial management. We know that one of the important objectives is wealth maximization. So you need to identify how we can, the value of the firm in this wealth maximization objective, how we are actually measuring it. Okay, how we are valuing it. So option A, present value of all expected future cash flow, all expected future cash flows, present value of all expected future profits, and all expected future profits. So the question is very simple and direct, and when you're going with this option, may be confused, but the correct answer is actually present value of, as we are taking time value, we are calculating the present value of all expected future profit, not cash flows. Okay, it's about the future profits. That is option C, present value of all expected future profits. Question number 88. Which of the following is not a valid basis for market segmentation? So again a question from marketing, and it is focused on the area of STP, segmentation, targeting and finally. So when you are taking this segmentation, we have a number of bases for its classification, or we are classifying or we are segmenting a particular market on a number of bases. Okay, so here you have some important basis you are using for such a classification, but you need to identify which is not a basis we are using for segmenting a market. So customer based segmentation, that is based on customer we are segmenting a market. technology oriented segmentation, competition related segmentation, and finally product related segmentation. So actually option B, that is technology oriented segmentation. We are not making any segmentation like a way. So the correct answer is actually option B, technology oriented segmentation. Question number 89. For a very large sample size, the ratio between standard error of mean and sigma is 8:40. Determine the sample size. So this is a question from statistics, and which is actually asking you about which is a large sample, that means more than 30 will be there, and a ratio between standard error and sigma is actually given here. You need to identify the sample size. So sample size is not given, you need to identify, you need to calculate the samples, the number of sample which is included in this. So by using the equation you can directly calculate, come to answer. Okay, so you will get the answer as option A, that is 25. And the next question, question number 19. So match list 1 with list 2. List 1 includes ordinary damages, special damages, exemplary damages, nominal damages. So see, these are the types of this is actually a question from the area of legal aspects of business, and it is discussing upon the damages which you can claim in case of a breach of contract or some in such situations. Okay, so there are a number of damages. So here we have the explanation in connected with each and every damages. Okay, so when you're coming with the first one, ordinary damages, you should identify the situation in or which one which is actually connected with the list 2. Okay, when it comes to list 2, never granted by a compensation for the loss. They are quite heavy in the amount and are awarded by way of punishment only. Arise in the ordinary course of event from the breach of contract. They constitute indirect loss suffered by the aggrieved party on the account of breach of contract. So when you're dealing with the first option, that is never granted by way of compensation for the loss, when you're dealing with list 1, you can actually connect it with the nominal damages. Okay, never granted by way of compensation for loss. So that is nominal damages is actually 1, nominal damage. Fine. The next one, they are quite heavy in amount. So the amount is much more higher and are awarded by way of punishment. So this type of damage is actually like a form of a punishment. Okay, so you can connect it with exemplary damage. Okay, the next one, arise in ordinary course of event from the breach of contract. So it's happening in an ordinary way. So you can actually connect it with option E, that is ordinary damage. And finally, the constitute indirect loss suffered by the aggrieved party on account of breach of contract is actually option B, that is special damages. Okay. So the option should be A3, B4, C2 and D1. So the correct answer is option A. Okay. So now you have a passage. So for now you know that there will be 2 passages from the area, and you need to you will get 5 questions from each passage. Okay. So here you have a passage. So you after reading this you will be able to answer 5 questions from this. Okay, so now I'm not going to read the whole passages for you. You can pause the video and you can you can read this particular area, then you can go for the questions in connected with this particular area. Okay. Now the first question from this area, question number 91. Which of the following sectors have a significant foreign direct investment in India? So the passage was actually related to the foreign investment and all, and by reading this, that you will be able to answer the question. So this is also a combination of answers. So yes, the service sector, secondary sector, primary sector, fisheries and animal husbandry. Okay, by reading this you will get the answer as option A, that is A and B only, that includes service and secondary sector. Okay. Next question, which of the following has not been articulated in the passage? So when you're reading the passage completely, you will be able to answer this question, as it is about a not articulated. Which one is not actually depicted in that particular passage? GDP growth, currency flows, liquidity, demographics. So this is also a combination of answer, and the correct answer is actually option C, that is B only, which is currency flow. That is not actually articulated in this particular passage. Question number 93. The Comptroller and Auditor General has reported a different estimate than governments in terms of GDP, fiscal deficit, FDI, liquidity of private banks. So you will get the answer as option B, that is fiscal deficit. Question number 94. Which among the following statement is correct one? So choose the most appropriate one. So you should take the most appropriate option from the given options. Okay, so India has a better trade relation with European country. MSCI is the largest stock exchange in the world. Indian primary sector is contributing less as compared to other sectors. India attracts highest FDI from USA. Okay, and actually the correct answer was given as option C, that is Indian primary sector is contributing less compared to other sectors. The last question from this particular passage, India has significant trading partners from which of the following regions? Europe, America, Asia, Africa. Okay, so here also you need to take a combination, and that combination should include Europe and Africa, that is A and D. And the correct option was option D, A and D only. Okay, so that's about the passage, and again we have a question, and in which, see, this is actually from the area of accounting and auditing, and which is actually focused on the cost variance analysis. Okay, so here they are actually focused on overhead variance. Okay, so when you are taking the question paper, you can see that they got asked questions from this variance analysis from material variance, labor variance, and this time this is about overhead variance. Okay, and you have a table in collected with the budgeted and actual days production and all. So based on this you need to answer again 5 questions from this particular table. So this is also a very direct question if you are able to know about the various equations in connected with this. Okay, so yes, when you are taking the first item, that is read the following passage carefully and answer the question. XY Limited furnished you with the following information. Okay, so you have the number of working days. Budgeted days was 25, and in actually how many days was there in 27, and see that the details is actually for a particular month. Okay, so a monthly detail is actually given in this table. And production in units, it is 20,000. The budgeted was 20,000, but actual was 22,000. And when you are taking the case of fixed overhead in rupees, it is 30,000. That was a budgeted, but in real that was 31,000. Okay. And the budgeted overhead rate is given rupees 1 per unit. In a particular month, the actual hours worked were 31,500. So all these details is actually about a monthly detail is actually given, a monthly detail. Okay, so you need to answer the questions based on this particular informations. And the first one, find the capacity variance for the month from the information given in the passage. So firstly, it is about the calculation of capacity variance. By using the equation, it is very easy to calculate, and you will get the answer as 1,500, and it is 1,500 favorable. That is option C. The next question, what is the total overhead variance in the given month experienced by XYZ Limited? That is rupees 4,000 favorable, 2,000 adverse, 1,000 adverse, 2,000 favorable. So here also you can calculate this particular answer very directly by using the equation, and you will, after calculating, you will get us 2,000. So here also you will have a confusion, as option B is saying it's about 2,000 adverse and option C is about 2,000 favorable. So if your answer is positive, you should go for 2,000 favorable, and if it is negative, you should go for 2,000 adverse. Okay, and the correct answer was rupees 2,000 favorable. That is option D. Question number 98. From the given information in the passage, what is the volume variance of XYZ Limited in given month? So now it's about volume variance. Okay, it's about the calculation of volume variance, and you have the options 3,000 favorable, 2,000 adverse, 1,500 variable, 1,500 adverse, and the correct answer was rupees 3,000 favorable. Okay. Next question, given the information in the past, what is the calendar variance? Okay, so now it's focused on the calendar variance for the month. 2,000 favorable, 3,000 adverse, 2,400 favorable, 1,000 adverse. Okay, so that's it. By calculating this, you will get it as 2,400 favorable. See, this area is very important, and we will discuss and we will analyze about the important area in detail in another videos. Okay, so and the final question, what is the expenditure variance of XYZ Limited as on given month? So 1000 adverse, 1500 adverse, 2000 favorable, 1500 favorable. So this is about the calculation of expenditure variance. Okay, and by using the equation you will get the correct answer as rupees 1000 adverse. So in this video we discussed the questions and provisional answer key of commerce which got held in 25th November shift 1. Okay, so as this is a provisional answer key, it may got some minute difference when the final answer key got released. So I hope this video will help you for your preparation of NTA UGC NET exam. Thank you and happy learning.